I'm with Katie Levick, who is a female cricketer, and we just wanted to have a chat about women in sport and just compare and contrast our nutrition, training, and just general life living as an athlete. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm a professional cricketer as of October. I play for the Northern Diamonds, which is a team made up of Yorkshire and Durham, and we're based at Headingley Stadium. And also play for the Northern Superchargers in the 100 competition. So
yeah. So athletic achievements then. We had a chat just before we started. You've not been professional that long, as you've just said. So how did you enter into cricket? Like, were you always athletic, or where did it come from?
Yeah, always sporty. I came from a sporty family. I wouldn't say athletic because I don't think it comes naturally to me, sort of thing. But I have an older brother, Adam, who's 4 years older, so as most younger siblings know, you get dragged to everything they do and you have no say in it. Football didn't really take my fancy because that was cold and wet often, and cricket was a summer sport, and so yeah, we were always playing in the garden or on the drive. Parents were always involved. My dad's heavily sport mad, and my mum's learned to love sport, and she had no choice really. And so yeah, just I think I was about 9 or 10, and I went along to our local club, which is Uphoff Cricket Club, and just took myself off to a session, which I think my parents found quite surprising at the time because I was always the kid that was like clung onto their legs. But something about cricket just drew me in, and I went off and never looked back really.
That's really cool. So you said that the support from your parents, did that help?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think anyone who plays amateur sport knows if you don't have a parent willing to drive you up and down the country and sacrifice all their evenings and weekends. And they were just always really supportive, and that these, for me and my brother, it was as long as you're having fun and you're enjoying it, that's all we want. And they kept telling me to stop playing as soon as you stop enjoying, and I'm still playing, so I must still be enjoying it.
So because before this, you told me earlier that you weren't a professional athlete, you were just like hobby, and you worked in marketing. Mm-hmm. So what were it that made you want to switch? What made you go for it, I suppose? Yeah,
I think, as you'll know, when you amateur sport, you sort of have a double life where you're so completely dedicated to something, of usually an evening, a weekend that no one else knows about, and you've got a normal 9 to 5 sort of thing, and it's a juggling act, and it can get really stressful, and you feel like you never really dedicate yourself to one or the other. But cricket didn't pay the bills back when I was coming up through the ranks, so it was never a career option for me, so I sort of firmly took myself out of that world and threw myself into a job that I did love. But then sort of hit 30 last year, and now the domestic game's gone professional for women, and I thought I'm going to take that chance now, and I've been quite successful so far in my career, and I thought, what could I do if I just solely dedicate myself to it? So I thought, I've got to take this chance now and see what can happen, because the game's growing year on year, and I feel like I've put a lot of years into it, and I want to be able to benefit from the development it's having now, rather than when I was coming through cricket, I thought if I can make it better for the next generation, that's all I'll achieve. But now I thought I'm going to enjoy it as well with this generation, sort of thing.
No, it's really good that, and like you said, I know exactly what you mean with the double life and trying to balance also seeing friends and family. It's quite, like you said, quite stressful, because you want to be on your A game for your sport, but you also want to be on your A game for your job, your day job. But the sport kind of interrupts the day job with like your meals and training and making sure you've got enough energy. So sleep's massively important. So it's kind of stressful. So like, since you've gone professional then, and you've been able to focus solely on your sport, how has that impacted your performance? Has it improved, or is it you just doing more?
I think I'll see that on the pitch come the season in a few months' time, but during the winter I've been able to actually have a pre-season for the first time ever. I always used to take October to December as a clean break from cricket, and I needed that gap because it just gets all consuming really. And this year we've got gym programs for the first time. I've got access to full medical staff, full coaching staff, and I've just been able to really just focus on my skills, and I'm enjoying seeing the rewards so far in training. I can't wait till we get to games and see if it is paying off. But even in physical stuff, like I'm fitter than I've ever been, just even seeing family and, like I said, brothers, one of my biggest I wouldn't say enemy, I'm trying to think of the word, but he pushes me to be better.
He champions
he even says, he's like, oh, you're looking a lot fitter than you ever have done, and so it's just good to see that it's paying off in that way, and it's not me having to go to the gym after work anymore on my own of an evening when I know the rest of the girls are training in the day, sort of thing. So it's been a great experience so far.
Yeah, so it's not only helping you physically, but is it easier on you mentally as well? Like not having that pressure of work and then having to go and still perform even if you're tired from the day job, is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, in the last couple of years it's gotten more professional, but I always had a day job, and so I'd train on my own every time, and I'm in a team sport, but I had to do all my training on my own because it was around work. And come the season, when you're playing all weekend and then you're travelling back knowing that come 9 a.m. I've got to be sat in an office, it just gets draining knowing that you're not focusing yourself on either as you would want to be. So I've really found that, I think my mental side is just so much better. I don't have that guilt anymore. I always felt guilty that I was neglecting either my job or my cricket, and now I can just solely focus on one and a lot just more content in myself.
Yeah, that's really good. And like, obviously you're working more as a team now, you've mentioned, so how important do you think it is to have people in your team that support you, and also like your brother Adam who champions you as well? How important is that to you?
Yeah, it's massive. I think cricket's such an interesting sport in that it's a team sport, but everything you do is completely solo. And so when I'm bowling, that's just me on my own, and I'm the only one that can control anything that's happening. But there's a team of players around you as well, also taking part. And I've always just loved team sport in that you've got this instant group of friends and become family essentially, that they know exactly what you're going through and they can help you when you get to your low moments, and they can enjoy your high moments with you. And my family's always been the biggest support I've ever had, because they just support everything, knowing that, okay, if Kate is really quiet today or she's tired, like, we'll give her that allowance. Or if I can't see the benefit of something I'm doing, they'll be like, come the season, you're gonna like really happy you've gone to the gym today, you need to go out and do that when you're running in the streets in rain and stuff like that. It's so important to have other people that understand and can help you along.
I think that lift you up as well, because there is days like with me, like I still do cardio in off season, which is like where I'm at now. Even in off season, when you're full of food and fuel and stuff, and you're not as tired and drained, you're still pushing yourself in training. Like, I think a lot of people, I get a lot like, what, so you're not competing at the moment till the end of the year? It's like October, November when I compete next, so it'll be a full year off as such. Right, the pre-season, you've got to like be consistent with improving, so it's more like an improvement season really.
Yeah, and I have so many friends that are like, oh, how's cricket going? Like, when do you play? And obviously May, like, and they can't understand. They're like, what? You don't play till May? What are you doing now? And I'm like, I'm training every day. Like, come May, because that is what we're training for. And in cricket, I presume it's similar with other sports. You get the fittest you've ever been in the winter period, and then you sort of come conditioned during the season. You get cricket fit sort of thing. Then you go back to being gym fit, and it's like a cycle of one helps the other, and you can't ignore one or the other. But that's been good to be able to actually focus on the pre-season for the first time and not turn up and try and get myself through a season with rolling on just niggles and injuries constantly, and just mix and mend as you go along, sort of thing. Yeah,
you mentioned about you've got access to like medical and coaches and like everything now. How has that helped you? So even with the physio side, has that helped you game or helped you training?
Yeah, definitely. Like, the gym and the exercise stuff does not come naturally to me. I'm not a natural gym goer. I have no idea what I'm doing. So to have strength and conditioning coaches that can set me a program that's completely specific to me. We do fitness testing in October to see where we are. Then our program gets entirely based around that, and then you get tested again come January and it changes again. And it's just something that we've never had as a women's game. You've gone to the gym yourself, you've worked around a few machines and hoped that what you're doing might help you in cricket. And then the physio side of things, it's interesting because our physio said when we first got set up with the Northern Diamond, she's like, you all just play constantly with injuries, and it's because we've never had access to anything else, so we didn't realise you could not feel like this. It's like, this is just how my body feels when I play cricket, and she's like, actually you can fix that, you don't have to feel constantly sore. So that's just been huge, that you don't ever have to compromise performance for something, because there's a member of staff that can help you.
That's really good. I'm a massive advocate of having sports massage and just making, if I feel one slightest thing I have knee issues, and if it's a slightly off, I have it sorted out, because I just think, why would you live with that? And it does affect your training. And what about the diet side of things then? Like, at the minute, has that changed because you're sort of pre-season, or does it change throughout? Because I don't know, or is it kind of the same?
Yeah, well, nutrition's like an interesting one because I'm so nearly professional. Beforehand, it was really difficult because I'd have to eat knowing I'm going to be eating probably at the desk 3 times a day and then going to train, but making sure I'm eating something that's suitable for training, but it's not going to then just sit on me as I'm inactive for 8 hours or so. But we've got a nutritionist on staff as well, which is really useful, and it's just a massive learning process, and sort of growing up, I don't know if it's a female thing or a me specific thing, but I was always obsessed with weight and the number, like I need to be low and like lower is better. And this year our nutritionist said like our target for you is we want you to put weight on because we want you to put muscle on, so we need you to be okay with the number going up, sort of thing.
That's always quite fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm similar at the minute. I'm quite heavy now. I'm at the top end of what I need to be, but it's this is the first off season I've had after competing to then go into another competing season. So it's the first time I've actually meant to put weight on.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because I always thought like no, more weight is worse, but and we do skin fold testing to make sure that you know that the weight you have put on is the weight you want to be putting on.
It's muscle, not fat.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's just been like a mindset thing that I've had to get used to this year. And we've got this, she created like as a diet app where it's like if you've got a gym only day, you should eat these things. If you've got a gym and cricket day, because cricket's such a weird sport where you can be stood still for so long, but you cover so much ground. And we have GPS units that we wear when playing to see how much ground you cover.
Oh really? That's amazing.
Yeah, people think, well, we're the only women's domestic team that's got it, so we invested in that, but people think cricket's like a largely like sedentary sport. But we were finding last year I was covering 10 to 15k a game, and you think that's a lot of calories I'm burning, so you need to make sure you're putting the right sort of things in. And we're lucky that in cricket you get fed before, during and after when you're playing games. So, but it's just about making those choices, and that's like one of the big learning curves I have to do this year, is really learn about nutrition for the first time, because you just eat what I can when I can. Yeah.
So now you're a professional as well, has that changed what you eat? And not just the amount, but has it changed what you eat, because you are really focused on your performance, and has it changed, you just diet completely?
Yeah, well, not completely, but I think about it a lot more. I didn't have a great diet before, like I'm honest, and like had to learn that like when you're hungry you need to add so much veg to fill you, rather than just going for the easy quick fill that would not be very good for you. And even just training in the schedule we have now, it's thinking about prepping a lot more. Like I used to prep to go to work, and that's, you know, if the worst thing that happens is you can pop to Sainsbury's and buy a meal deal or something, whereas now I know that if I've got on Tuesday gym, cricket, I need to eat in those gaps, I need to be ready, I can't hope that there's time to go and grab something. So it's been a lot more forward planning and thinking about stuff.
I agree, because like I was saying to you before, you know, we've got the cameras rolling, that I treat this like I'm a pro, and I've just had 2 days working away, and all my meals, I took everything with me, nothing was missed, it all gets tracked, and you just can't, I can't let that variable like be too off. I need the consistencies, because the thing is, the interesting thing as well, I think from my point of view, is like I'm training for performance at the moment, as like you are, but then I'm sort of training for aesthetics as well. Or diet or eating for aesthetics. So it's a bit of a two thing with bodybuilding. It's both, so it's quite different to like most other sports, I think.
Yeah, because we're purely for fuel, and like what's going to get me through this session and what's going to be the most benefit to me. But yeah, it's an interesting thing that I've never had to focus on before, because it's just, we've never been at this level of professionalism now, but now it's the little 1%ers we have to get from everywhere, and that is something you can control, so have to put focus on it now.
So with your nutrition then, do you allow yourself just to relax a little bit, or are you quite strict with your eating, and or do you avoid certain foods? Do you make sure you have certain foods in, like?
I wouldn't say I'm the most strict. I still enjoy a drink, so, but I know that come a weekend, if I want to go out with my friends and have a drink, that I know if I've been doing all my training all week and I've got everything in all week, then I don't let myself think too much about that. If I start to slip, now I know that there's a lot of people that would know and be able to call me out on it, and you know, I've got to hold myself accountable for it now, whereas in the past, you know, if I put weight on or I wasn't in the best physical shape, it was only myself to deal with, whereas I do know I've got that bit of pressure now, but
it's good pressure though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It makes me. I need that to stay focused more. I think I would just let myself slack completely, but it's so easy just to reach something easy and instant, and instead of being like, you know what, no, I'm going to bulk make pasta and veg today because I know that's going to get me through the next sessions, and it's what I need right now.
Yeah, I think your mindset is completely different when you know you've got coaches, trainers that you're accountable to, and they're gonna tell you straight whether you're performing good or bad, or you look a bit heavy or a bit, or you're not improving on or whatever. And it is a pressure really, and that's the same with myself. So I think having the right mindset is really important because that's what gets you through really.
Yeah, definitely.
And keeps you on track.
They can see instantly like, oh, you're looking tired today, like what did you do last night? And if the answer is I didn't go to bed on time, then it's like, well, then you've got your own self to be held accountable for. And used to call it in the summer naughty girl running, that, you know, if you've been bad or if you're not behaved as you should do. And we put a big focus on recovery in our team, and we have these things where you try and build 100 recovery points in between games, and 10 points could be I got 8 hours sleep, and 10 points could be I drank 2 litres of water. And
that's good.
You know, if you're not doing your recovery points, you used to do naughty girl running, and you have to go and do a session, and that session would be completely gross as you're trotting around a cricket pitch and you think, right, okay, I don't want to do this ever again. Sort of thing.
That's really good in a way, really. Like, you know, it's good to make sure that you get, because sleep is massively important for performance, isn't it? I've found.
Yeah.
Do you find if you don't have enough sleep, you're down?
Definitely. Now, like I said, like I'm nearly pro October, but the first lot of girls went pro last October, and they talk about napping all the time after training, and I just think like, come on girls, get a grip, like sort of thing. But then since I've started doing it, I realise you are just tired, you need those little naps, and I've not been the most consistent sleeper usually, because I knew all I needed to do was get up and sit at an office desk the next day 9 to 5, and what's the worst thing if I'm tired? Like, I'm just tired at my desk. Whereas now if you're tired, it's going to throw you off your game, and you're not going to have that concentration, that focus you need. So it is really important. It can get difficult, like in the summer, we're in hotel rooms 2-3 times a week, different hotel rooms, and you know, your pattern does slip off, so getting those naps in, like if you are tired at 3 p.m, like take yourself off because you know it's going to benefit you, sort of thing. So
yeah, I've actually got a sofa bed upstairs in the studio, so no joke.
Yeah, well, it's needed. Yeah, I would just try and advocate for one in the office when I had a job, because I was like, look, I was playing cricket yesterday, can we please get like one of those pods?
We've got one.
Yeah.
And anyone can use it, so that's fine by me.
I'll jump on before I drive
back. That's but it is hard as well to. I don't know what you think to this, but like you can tell me, but like discipline wise, to be so disciplined in every aspect of your life, basically when you've got to perform, it can be quite limiting. So how do you deal with that, and how, like, obviously you've got to make sacrifices, so what sort of other sacrifices are you to make?
Yeah, I think growing up I always used to say like my catchphrase was I can't, I've got cricket. I really grew to resent it because my friends were, you know, were going out for the first time and they were doing these things, and I always had training or I had a game, and I really did resent it. And like we were speaking off camera earlier about why didn't I take this step earlier, sort of thing, and because I sort of had a love-hate relationship with cricket. As much as it gave me opportunities, it took away a lot of opportunities. I didn't have the same sort of life growing up as a lot of my friends did. But then it's remembering when you go home or you're competing, like how great that is and that rush, and that makes the sacrifices worth it. And you think, yeah, I didn't get to go to that birthday this week, or you know, but I got to play in front of 5,000 people ahead, and they're like, you know, pros and cons. So
it's, I think, also doing something that most people wouldn't be able to do, to be honest.
Yeah, like we had discussions as a family, like when I decided to take this, and the pay is not great at the moment because women's sport doesn't pay well, and it was a pay cut from my day job, but they were like, at the end of the day you play cricket for a living, like you get to go and do a hobby for a living, like what's the worst thing? Like my brother and my dad has an awful day like on a building site, he's been there for 12 hours, like my worst thing is I might drop a catch. But it's just, I've got to remember how lucky I am to be in this position, so I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's important to stay grateful, I think, and blessed, and feel blessed for what you're doing. And I'm the same really, even though some days it is really hard to, you know, I'm managing running a business and growing a business, and also like I've got this double life like you said at the moment. But the pressure is, I don't think the pressure will be no different for yourself really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the monetary side of things was really big for me. You know, I just bought my first place, and I was like, what am I doing, taking a pay cut, and had a bit of a wobble. And I was chatting to my brother about it, being like, oh, have I made the right decision? And then for some fortuitous reason, I got a tweet at the same time. This girl had got a Levick shirt for Christmas, and with my number on the back, and Adam was like, look, I've never received that. You know, I might earn more money, but I'm never gonna get that. Like, no one's looking up to me. And you think, yeah, okay, it's taking away what you actually want from life, and realising sometimes that like there's kids out there that actually want to be me, which is bizarre but great.
It's I think to inspire people is a great thing, and especially being a woman in sport as well. There'll always be an improvement that can be made, so you're learning. I think that's half the fun.
Yeah, it's like even when I've been thinking about before the opportunity to become professional, I was thinking about when I was going to retire, and I thought like when I know that point has come, and I think I always thought I'd choose like I've had enough now, and I think now I'll actually go to my body tells me no, because I'll never see an end point. Like I'll just want to keep going forever, and I think I'll have to be told like you're actually not performing as you shouldn't do anymore, sort of thing. But there's always something to develop, and no one's a finished product, and in sport there are so many things that are out of your control that no matter how much training you do, just might not be your day.
It's for you, I guess it's like one slight move to the right or left and catching the ball, or whatever,
a bit of wind or something like that.
And
that was one of the main things that I learned as I got into more professional setup. Is one of the international England girls had to tell me like, you can do your very absolute best, but so can the other person, and so if they're better than you on the day, it's nothing against you. Like if I get hit out of the ground, I could have bowled my best ball, they could just be better in that moment. Like other players are allowed to be good, and that's something that I didn't think of for so long. I was like, if I've done something wrong, it must be me, but it's not. Other players are allowed to be good as well. Like other competitors are allowed to succeed. Like
this reminds me of something I said in an interview the night before I went on stage last year, and I said, look, we've all done our best. If you know they've done their best, I've done my best. If it's my time, it's my time, and if it's meant to be that I'll win, then that just means I'm better. If not, next time might be my time, and similar thing.
It's just being
you've got to be humble with it as well.
It's not always your fault. It's not something you did wrong. Other players are allowed to be good.
Even though you don't like it.
Even though you don't like it, but then you just try and get better than them for the next time.
So in terms of like the pressure to perform, we've talked about the pressure. Just generally when you had a job, but now you've got a pressure, now you're professional, to really perform every single game to that level and making sure you've got the dedication. So how do you deal with the pressure of that?
Yeah, it's like when I took the contract, I remember thinking, my whole thing was, I can't wait to see how good I can be, now I can focus on it, and everyone else was going, yeah, but you're always at this level now, if you're not, it's so much more spotlight on you, and I think, but you can't focus on that, you just need to just do everything you possibly can, and I think it's about having a lot of things outside of cricket as well, to make you a more rounded person, and something that really helped me was talking to someone about it, and they said, if I'm a good person, I'm okay with that, I don't need to be a good cricketer, and it's being a good teammate, and it's being like, when my career's finished, I want people to be like, I really enjoyed being in a changing room with Lev, and she helped my experience, regardless of what she did on the pitch. And I think if you know, I always think the pressure is, I know that my family still love me at the end of the day, and my friends, and they're still happy with me, then whatever happens on the pitch is just purely a game at that stage, and that otherwise it would just consume you, because if all you've got is cricket and sport and that's all you think and you define yourself by that, then I don't think you'll ever succeed, because you can never complete, like you said earlier, you can never complete sport. You can't get to the top of that, right, I've done it now, so you'd always be consumed by the pressure.
It's hard though, I find it hard to get the balance of especially like obviously I've got a business, so that's not going to go away from me because I don't want it to go away, so I've got that, I've got bodybuilding, and then you know trying to be a good friend, a good daughter, sister, whatever it is, trying to be all those things is really hard. And I suppose even it's the same with you, because you've got more pressure to be performing in your sport, but then you still have to make sure that you're still stay in touch with your family and like the personal side of things. Otherwise they always think like, oh, just too busy for me or whatever.
It's how many times I've driven back home to Sheffield to see people for an hour, because that's the only hour I've got, but I think I know I've done that and I've ticked that off, and that'll make me feel better knowing I've put that sacrifice, and I might be a bit more tired, but I know that they're going to be happier, and I'm going to probably feel better after that experience. And it's just sometimes it can seem like everything's all consuming, you've got no time to do anything, and it's just knowing,
it's about making the time.
yeah, it's just knowing that like that's actually going to benefit me. Whether it doesn't benefit me physically because I might be tired, it's going to benefit me mentally because I know I've seen him on this month. So
yeah. Or even just a 10-minute phone call sometimes is just, So, and obviously when you retire, you've got those, and the support as well, going back to the support, you've got support outside of your coaches and teammates as well.
Yeah, exactly. I do everything I've ever done is for my family because of that initial support they put into me. I think if I can give them a nice day out of cricket that they're going to enjoy as well, and that's a memory for all of us. We've just got different perspectives of it because I'm in the game and they're watching the game, sort of thing.
So is there any standout moments for you then? Like you've mentioned your family come and support you, so that must be really special for you. So in your career so far, has there been any standout moments for you?
I always hear questions like this because I feel like you just reel it off your CV, like, I'm really good at this. A few years ago, I won Guardian Women's Cricket of the Year out of nowhere, where they wanted to put a spotlight on someone that maybe made other challenges. And so my story growing up, I pulled myself out of the England system when I was 20 because I needed to get a job and it wasn't a paying thing. But I continued to play for Yorkshire and had a really long, successful Yorkshire career, albeit amateur. And so that was something that, like, usually if you're not international, you're not famous, you don't get sort of acclaim. And I think I've always just been really proud. I think I'm a really good advocate and role model for the North. That we get, I think, neglected as a sport quite a lot in cricket. It's very southern dominant because it's more of a upper class sport traditionally, and so the North often gets ignored. And I think I like to be a good advert for Yorkshire and Sheffield, and I think those achievements where people might know who I am, I think is pretty big, and hopefully I'll win something with the Northern Diamonds one day and stop losing finals.
You will, you'll get there because you've got the determination to get there, I'm sure. So just sort of closing is there any advice you give to aspiring athletes or sports, women in sport in particular?
Yeah, I think it's similar to what my parents always said, is just play as long as you enjoy it. I think you'll never focus yourself to something you don't enjoy. It's the same with jobs, you know, they say work in something you love and you'll never work a day in your life, sort of thing. And especially within cricket, the opportunities now and in sport, women's sport, are just growing every time, and it's my generation before that done all that hard work for us, and I think make sure you enjoy it going forward and reap the benefits of being able to say, oh, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to play cricket for a living, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think don't be afraid to dream is the thing as well, you know.
Exactly. I think as a kid, I always say when what would you tell your younger self, and I said don't be embarrassed playing cricket, because I was so embarrassed. I thought it's not what girls do and not what my friends do, and it's not very ladylike to be playing sport.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, why was I ashamed to wear my Yorkshire tracksuit anywhere? And I think just own it, because it's actually pretty cool, and it means you're part of a little community where it's opened so many doors. And for me, that I know people around the world that I would never have known, and I've done things that a lot of people never do. And I think just own it.
And be unique, be you.
Yeah.
I think that's what we've got from this.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be unique. Be yourself in everything you do, basically. And just, I think if you just believe in yourself as well, and surround yourself with others that believe in yourself.
Yeah. Someone out there will relate to you and inspire to be you, and I don't think there's anything better you could leave behind on this planet than you know, someone's done what to do what you do.
I would say if you can inspire one person to achieve what they want, then that's job done, and you've done it doing something you love as well. So
exactly,
it's all good. So thank you very much for having a chat with me today.
No worries, that was not too long.
No, I've enjoyed it. So where can people find you if they want to look you up and follow you?
I'm on Instagram, Katie_Lev, Twitter, same handle. And anything Northern Diamonds related, I'm usually on there pretty heavily as well, because I'm not scared of a camera.
Brilliant. Alright, well, we'll get this up onto my YouTube, and we'll tag you into that so everyone can follow. So hope you've enjoyed that, everyone, and we will be back very soon for another chat, I'm sure.